So, before we get into today's video, the reason why I'm teaching you the dribble is because I want you to eventually learn the cherry control. Now you might be asking, why do I need to learn the dribble for a cherry control which only involves a thumb fan? Everybody knows that when you do a fan, it is much cleaner and nicer if you dribble it first, so it can get a little bit of air inside the deck, and the fan is executed just much nicer. So I want to be able to teach that first, and then next week video we're going to learn the thumb fan, and then after that we will learn the cherry control. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do the cherry control, but I have a lot of tips and a lot of subtleties for the cherry control that can make it so much better. So besides that, let's get into today's video. As always, my name is James Pena, and welcome to my channel where we go over tips and subtleties on basic sleight of hand. Today's not really sleight of hand, it's more of a cardistry, I guess. Well, I wouldn't really put cardistry, I'd say more it's a flourish than anything. It's not really essential or anything, but it does open up a realm of sleight of hand. Like, let's say if you want to do like a dribble control, or really anything that involves a dribble. If you just want somebody to select a card like that, and there's also the dribble force, dribble controls. There's all types of stuff. Oh, there's a dribble pass. A lot of things you can do with dribble. So it kind of just opens up doors once you learn this move. But again, you could always just use it as a flourish. So besides that, let's get to it. If you don't know what the dribble looks like, it's essentially that. That is what it looks like. Before we start the rest of the tutorial, there's two parts. The POV version, right? So you can follow along much faster. And then I'll show you from a spectator's point of view so you can get a better angle at the front. But for right now, let's stay focused with what we can see. So we're gonna start with the grip. And the grip goes like this. You want your thumb, or actually, let's start with the positioning of the deck. So what I mean by that, right, is when you first start, right, some decks have like a slight bevel, right? If it's beveled out, that's the part that you want going down, because it'll be a little easier on your thumb. If it's like this, and you're trying to push up against it, it'll be harder to do. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, you can do it both ways, but if you're just starting out, you kind of want to pay attention to how the deck is like beveled. So if it's beveled up, well, essentially just make sure it's beveled down the entire time. So if it's beveled this way, go this way. If it's beveled like that, then face it down. So you can work with it. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, let me know. Now to the grip. So your thumb. It is kind of like a long, right? It's not like this, right? It's here. And I'll show you why, but a quick reason is because it's more sensitive to the cards. So, or you can feel the cards much easier. So you can let go one at a time, right? Because this and this, you can hear it and you can see the difference. So just make sure your thumb is along. Now the index finger. This is completely optional. You can leave it out. I like it this way because it applies a softer pressure. And I'll show you right now. Right, you see how like the index finger kind of just goes like that. Now some people like having it like this, and they'll go fast with it, which is totally fine. I'm not hating on it. I just personally like the other one better. But it's not like, oh man, don't do it, right? It's again, total preference. But I'm going to teach you my way. Right, so just like that. So that's just, we're worried just about placement right now. So just make sure your fingers are there. Now these bad boys. All right, a little hard to show right now, but if you were to do this, just grab the deck, kind of tilt it towards you so you can see how your finger placement should be. So do you see how it's kind of like, oh, sorry if I flipped you off, but your placement is going to be like this. So it's not like this, like the thumb, and it's not straight. It's kind of like at an angle, all right? See how it's like at an angle? And that's where you want your fingers to be, at that angle. If you follow the same motions with your hand, you'll be able to notice any differences that you may have so you don't get it wrong. So now to do the dribble. So you are in this grip. Once you're in this grip, to start off, so you're not dropping cards everywhere, just make sure these two fingers are like that. Make sure you just have this grip with your left hand. You have a set grip with the right hand. Just put your right hand on top and then raise your these two fingers and then kind of up the wrist. And now what you want to do, this in essence just makes like a cradle so the cards don't go everywhere. So if you ever fiddled with a book and you flip through the pages, that's basically the same thing that you're doing with the thumb. You're just flipping through the book. That is possibly the best way I can describe it. So if you have a book near you, grab that book and just kind of like roll through the pages. And that is literally the exact thing that you are doing here. And the goal here is that you want to let go each card one by one. All right. So that's one card. Let's see. That's one card. That's what you want. You want one card to be let go at a time. It'll be a little irritating at first, but just keep practicing. And let's say at first you might have this, right, where like two of them fall, maybe in this case one. It's okay. The whole point is that you get how that motion is supposed to feel like. So if no cards drop, that's fine. But just make sure you're able to do that motion. Now that you are able to do that motion, once you have a little bit more confidence, I'm just doing that, raise it up. Not this high, but they're just gonna go everywhere. Maybe just start off maybe like an inch, and then just do it. Now the difference that happens here is now that you are no longer using the support, is now when you're up here, the front fingers can get in the way. And we are going to change over to the spectator's point of view for this part. So now you see how the fingers are supposed to be. So like I said, once you come up here, what's going to stop your dribble is when these fingers start to curl in. And then that's gonna happen. So you want to make sure that these are just holding the cards. They're not tightening it, right? They're just there. They're just making sure the cards don't fall. All right, and then once you get towards the end, you see how the fingers start kind of moving the cards or bending the cards, because you want those fingers to get out of the way. But that's not until like once you're like maybe 15 cards away. So you see how they barely started to move? So just make sure that they stay still. And that should be it. Just make sure you focus on getting higher and higher. And maybe you can go that far. Maybe you can go this far. You don't really need to be that high for a standard dribble. Just maybe like 5 inches is good. That's pretty much it. Any higher than that, you might as well just do an anaconda and just display your skills with cards. But like I said in the very beginning, it's used to get into a fan because it puts air in between the cards Now these are pretty new, so it's kind of hard to display, right? Because I can do a fan pretty easily. But once cards start getting clumpy or whatever, dribbling it, right? And then fanning immediately produces a much better fan. And I think this fan looked a little cleaner than the last one, to be honest. And these are fairly new cards. That's really all I got for the dribble. Not much to it. Hopefully you guys learned it pretty quick. Hopefully you guys like it. And hopefully you guys use it often. And like I said in the beginning, it opens a bunch of doors. So now that you know how to do the dribble, go ahead and watch other videos on how to do like other types. You can go more into the cardistry realm and learn how to do the anaconda. You can take the magic route, and then you can learn how to do dribble passes, forces, and controls and all that good jazz. But just go out there, start looking. There's a lot that you can do with the dribble. If you actually like today's video, please press the like button. It definitely helps me out. If there's anything that I missed, if there's anything that you guys can help me out with, or that you want to put your tips and subtleties on, definitely leave comments in below. That way it helps other viewers. Helps me as well, because I don't know everything, right? I'm just giving you what I know in my experience. What you have may be totally different. So please write it in the comments. And consider subscribing. I'm posting every Friday, or roughly around 4. If you guys think it's an inconvenient time, again, let me know in the comments. That's how I'm gonna know if that's what you guys want. Like if you guys want anything to change with the channel, you guys want me to teach a certain something, just write it in the comments and I will always let you know. Just be aware, I will never teach anything that is not my permission to use. So just kind of keep that in mind. Besides that, see you next week.